Hi, welcome, Simon here, and I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll be replacing the cracked screen on an iPad 6, and I'll walk you through step by step on how to do that from start to finish. First thing first, always have a safety. You do need to have a safety goggle to protect your eyes at all times because you're dealing with broken glass. There are chances that when you pry the broken glass up, it would fly into your eyes and whatnot. So always have a safety first. That's number one priority. Okay, so here's the replacement screen. We'll be replacing the digitizer on this iPad 6. I'm having using the heat gun to heat up the adhesive here so that I can remove the glass, and I'll be using some kind of a double-sided tape to re-tape the screen back together, as well as the super glue, the ultra gel, to hold down the bracket for the home button. All right, the home button has a bracket at the back. You need to have some kind of stronger glue to hold it down. All right, let me go ahead and start heating up the iPad. And again, if you're not sure where to buy the tools from, or maybe the replacement part from, go check down the link description below. I'll direct you to either Amazon or eBay, where you can find the replacement screen, the tools, and all the accessories that you need for this repair. If you find this video is helpful, please go ahead and click the like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. I hope this video is helpful. Please watch all the way at the end. As you can see, I'm heating up the screen. I do not stay in one position like that because the heat gun can be really hot. It may damage the internal part of the iPad, so you always want to move it around while you're heating up the iPad. The second thing, as you can see, I'm not heating up at the bottom here because I'm not working at the bottom side. I'm concentrating on the top. I'm in an AC room, so the adhesive might get hardened as soon as I remove the heat gun. So heat it up where you want to work. You don't have to heat up the entire iPad. Just keep heating up the position where you want to work from, and then work your way around it. I'm using a metal prying tool to kind of pry open that broken glass. Just work your way around it slowly. You don't have to rush. Do not injure yourself. Those are broken glass. And take your time when you're removing those broken glass, because depending on how the crack happens, so my crack is, I would say, consider severe. The more cracks, the more difficult for you to remove them. If it's as a whole, meaning that the iPad doesn't have much of a crack, then it's a lot easier to remove those crack screens. When it comes to the bottom part, making sure that you do not snap the home button cable, because we are transferring the home button cable over to the new screen so that the Touch ID would continue to work. If you replace with the third-party home button, then the iPad Touch ID wouldn't work. So we need to be gentle at the very bottom. They have all this Wi-Fi cable connected still, so just be very careful, making sure you're not cutting through the cable, only the tape. Okay, so I just flip it over. Here you can see that the home button is being exposed. First I need to remove that bracket. This is the bracket that we need to recycle them and then transfer over to the new screen. Be very careful when you remove the bracket. Do not pull it while the thing is still sticking around. And there's a very home button here. Let's get all the way underneath that. There you go, the home button is being loose. Now I'm going to be very gentle and remove that cable. Okay, so I just separate the cable away from the broken glass. We're going to save this cable for later use. Next thing is to go ahead and cut the flex cable. There are two flex cable here. They're still connected to the screen. I'm just going to cut it off because it connected to the broken glass, which we don't need to keep the broken glass anyway. So let's go ahead and cut it off. Now as you can see, there's still a lot of broken glass here on the iPad. Always come back and clean off those broken glass, but I need a clean table. Wipe it down. Alright, once you have done that process, the next step is to come back and clean out the rest of the broken glass here. Alright, we are almost done with cleaning those broken glasses. Okay, I'm just going to shake out some of the glass, come back and clean the rest. Okay, clean my table. Now the next step is to make sure that you have exposed that tape right here. So right underneath the tape there is a little screw that we need to remove, and that is a Phillips screw. So go ahead and remove that. Get yourself a Phillips screwdriver. Kind of like to cut off the tape for my reason is to show it to you that there is another strong adhesive black glue. This black glue is holding down the LCD. Okay, not only just the screw, but in fact the black glue as well. So let's remove 4 of that screws. Again, the screws are not the same, so make sure that you do not mix match the screw. Whichever you take it from, you should know how to put it back later on. Now here, if you take a closer look, the iPad screen has this little black gooey stuff. Okay, so this black gooey stuff is holding down the LCD screen. I come here, use my tweezer. I just kind of scrape it off so that it can free up my LCD screen. They try to tape it there and not allow you to remove that screen. It's very sneaky. So all you had to do is just scrape that stuff out. Okay, what you're going to do is flip it towards yourself. So flip it towards yourself at about 90-degree angle and then stop right there. So we're going to remove the 3 screws, which is holding down the LCD cable and that digitizer. Once you remove the 3 screws, remove the connector. At the same time, the LCD was connected to the bracket, so it came off together, but usually it would just come off by itself, the bracket, and then disconnect the LCD. Now once you have disconnected the LCD and that, go ahead and disconnect the digitizer connector, the one that we cut off earlier, the cable that we cut off. So that is the digitizer cable. You can throw that away, we don't need that part. So the next step is to come back and double check, making sure that there's no broken glass here, get stuck, because while you're putting the new screen, you want the screen to sit flush, flat, right on the base, not having any broken glass that makes the the screen uneven, so that you cannot. So that is not a good idea. So come and double check, clean out the iPad at this point. You can't clean all the glue because the adhesive glue is just so strong that they have the residue still on the iPad. So just clean that broken glass off and you should be good. At this point here, I'll be using the 2mm, the 2mm. The 2mm is on the side, so that it can hold down the LCD screen, the glass. So use the double-sided tape. This is the stronger version of it. I know that the iPad screen comes with pre-installed tape. So if you look at the iPad, it does comes with it. I can tell you that it's not strong. It doesn't stick well. You're probably gonna stick it for like a week and it'll come right off. So get this, invest this double-sided tape, and this tape is a lot stronger and it will stick the iPad screen longer. Okay, I wouldn't say it's permanent, but I would say longer. Once you have done that process, I'll be using a 3mm, the 3mm, this 3mm double-sided tape. I'll be taping the top and bottom. Okay, once that is done, I'll bring my new screen because we need to use that super glue to glue the home button, that bracket, because the bracket is the one that's holding down the home button, so we need to glue that guy down. Okay. So what I like to do now is to have a feel of the home button, making sure that the home button is aligned and close into the iPad screen properly, so that when I press that clicker, it clicks. Okay, right about here is the sweet spot. So once I have it ready, I just gonna tilt a little bit, squeeze in just tiny little bit, like a size of a grain of your, like half the size of the rice. Do not squeeze it too much because it will ooze out those just a little bit. What the glue is trying to harden. Before it gets hardened, double check. Making sure the clicker clicks good. All right, now let's go ahead and connect everything together. So the screen digitizer, just like Lego, once you position them in the right place, press it down. Here comes the screen. Make sure you have the three screws putting back together. Okay. Slide the LCD back in, press it down. Have the 4 screws going back to the LCD screen. Okay, once the thing is in, let's go ahead and turn on the iPad. So we know that the iPad is turning on. Okay, just want to make sure that everything works okay. So let's do the home button. Press the home button to open. Okay, everything works just normal. Make sure you come and clean off all the dust. Now the next part here is to remove that double-sided tape. As well as the other one here on the iPad that comes with the new screen. And this tape is not really sticky, so I highly recommend you to buy that red adhesive double-sided tape so that you can tape the iPad down for a longer period of time. Alright, so I'm going to tape it here, align it at the bottom left, bottom right. Looks good. Now I'm going to come here and peel that tape off on the very end. And if you're watching this still at the very end of the video, I want to share you some of the tips that I use. Since you stay all the way to the end of the video, so you get to know what is the little secret that I use, the tip I can share with you. Do you see that little flex cable for the digitizer, the two cable that we cut off earlier? So you do not want to press the screen down. Sometimes that cable get clipped on. So what you want to do is get a metal prying tool, tuck it in, kind of push it backwards, tuck it in a little while you're closing that screen, and you just have that cable tucked in, so not being pressed on. So there you go. I just replaced the entire iPad screen on an iPad 6. Yep, all the screen works. So thanks for watching. Until next time, take care, and if you have any question, let me know. Again, if you're not sure where to buy the tools and the stuff, check out the link down description below. Thanks for watching. Bye now.